We will be doing the numericals, that is the sums of simple machines, levers and pulleys both, which is there in your syllabus. So, levers and pulleys, we will first see the formulae. So, in levers, basically levers work on the principle of moments. So, we will be using the principle of moments extensively when we solve sums based on levers. On one side you have the effort, on the other side you have the load. So this is the input side of the machine, that is the output side of the machine. This I had explained in the first lecture of simple machines, in the first video, very first video. So here effort is the force that is applied on the input of the machine, and load will be the force that is overcome on the output of the machine. So the effort is the input, load is the output. These are force. So units of force will be Newton. Newton or time. SI and CGS units. Or you can write it in kgf and gf. But only thing, if this is in Newton, that should also be in Newton. You can't have effort in Newton and load in kgf. And you know 1 kgf is 9.8 Newton. So the distance between the point of application of the effort and the fixed point or the pivot or the fulcrum, different words for the fixed point is fulcrum or pivot. So that distance is known as effort arm, and the distance between the load and the fulcrum or pivot is known as load arm. So the distances are there. So what is your anti-clockwise movement? So obviously this side, this force is producing anti-clockwise movement about the fulcrum. So the effort is in the anti-clockwise direction. So there you will have effort into effort arm. What is moment of force? It is force into distance between force and pivot. So effort into effort arm is the anti-clockwise movement, and on the other side it will be load that is producing clockwise movement into load arm. So effort into effort arm equal to load into load arm. So that is the principle of moments as applicable to a lever. Same way you had learned all these formulae in theory. Efficiency is work output upon work input. What is work output? It is load into displacement of load. So displacement of load means this is going to move up maybe a distance dl. So that distance by which the load has been raised, that is the displacement of the load. So efficiency, you have work output upon work input. Output side is load and displacement of load, because what is work? It is force into displacement. So work output will be load into displacement of load. And what is input? Input is effort. So the distance by which the effort has moved. So if you consider this as a seesaw, then the person here would have gone down a bit. So that is displacement of effort. So effort into displacement of effort. And we had even derived a relation between efficiency MA and VR from this basic formula. We wrote load upon effort as it is, and we wrote into 1 upon dE by dl. So 1 upon dE by dl, and dE by dl is VR. Load upon effort is MA. So these are also formulae which are extensively used in machines. So MA is load upon effort and VR is dE by dl. So efficiency is MA upon VR. So that is yet another formula that you have used. Now, if you look at any machine, you will have the velocity ratio will never change. The velocity ratio of the machine will never change. So that is one thing you should know. For example, if you have a single fixed pulley, you know the velocity ratio is 1. The efficiency may not be 1, because of course there will be friction and other things, and you have to lift the rope along with the bucket. So efficiency will not be 1, it will be less than 1, or it is going to be less than 100%. So MA will change as per efficiency, but VR will remain fixed. Work done, learn these terms. Work done by machine on load is the work output. Work done by the machine if it is there, even if it is not mentioned on load. Work done by the machine means work output. And work output is load into displacement of load. And work done on the machine, even if the rest of it is not mentioned on the machine by the effort, or if it is just given as work done on the machine, it is work input. So work input is effort into displacement of effort. So these are common formulae that are used. Now here one more thing you will know or you will notice is that if you write this as load upon effort, if you bring effort here, then you can write it as effort arm upon load arm. Load upon effort is MA. So that is also known as ideal case MA. Ideal case MA, if there is no friction or nothing is mentioned in the sum here, you can write it as load upon effort. So it will be effort arm upon load arm. So that I will write it in the next frame. Yeah, now in this sum, this is not a sum, this is just an explanation of yet another formula. Here you are using principle of moments. So you have just written that effort into effort arm is load into load arm. So now if you rearrange the terms and bring effort below load, then load arm will go below effort arm. So when you look at this, the right hand side is load upon effort, that is MA. So you can write that in ideal case, ideal MA and VR will be load upon effort or effort arm upon load arm. Sometimes when you are asked MA, you will be looking out for the formula load upon effort, because MA is load upon effort. That's how you define mechanical advantage, the ratio of load to the effort. But then what is given won't be the effort and load. You would be given effort arm and load arm. So you should know that in such cases, if there is no mention of friction in the sum or no resistance, nothing, then you will assume it's an ideal case, and for any ideal case, load upon effort and effort arm upon load arm will be same. So that is why here IMA is written, but in the question they may just ask you MA. And if there is absolutely no mention of any resistance or efficiency is less than 100%, nothing is mentioned, then it means that they assume that it is 100% efficient. So this is IMA equal to VR is effort arm upon load arm. Now, as I told you, I am not doing all the sums on the video. I will be doing many of the sums on Zoom. But now I will just take a simple example, which is a very simple direct formula example of the formula that you have written. Page 45, question number 7. So in this question, you have effort is 500 Newton. And the distance through which the effort moves is 50 centimeter. That means that is the displacement of effort. The efficiency of the machine is 90%, that is 0.9. And load moves through a distance of 4 centimeter. So that means the displacement of the load is 4 centimeter. So in that case, you are asked to find what is velocity ratio. The velocity ratio is dE by dl. So it is dE is 50 and dl is 4. So 50 upon 4, that is 12.5. So velocity ratio and mechanical advantage, they are pure ratios. They do not have any units. Centimeter upon centimeter both get cancelled. So velocity ratio is 12.5. Now in this case, is it an ideal case? No. The question itself tells you that the efficiency is 90%. So it is not an ideal case. So you cannot say that VR is equal to MA. VR is not going to be equal to MA. MA is going to be less than VR. So efficiency 0.9 or 90%, you can directly use it as MA upon VR. So MA upon VR is 12.5. So 0.9 into 12.5, that is 11.25. So MA will be 11.25. So that's how you find the MA. You're directly using formula efficiency is MA upon VR. Now the third thing that they have asked is, they have asked you to find the useful load lifted. Useful load lifted, then you may think what is the load lifted, what is the meaning of this useful load? Obviously, the useful load lifted means not the ideal case load, which would have been much more, because in that case there would have been 100% efficiency. But now it is not 100% efficiency. So what you can lift using this efficiency, using this, you have calculated the MA, and you can clearly see that MA is less than VR, it is not equal to VR. So using this value of MA, you are finding what is the actual or useful load lifted. It can also be called actual load. It is MA is load upon effort. So 11.25 is load and the effort is given 500. So when you multiply, load is 11.25 into 500, that is 5625 Newton. Why Newton? Because effort was also in Newton. So that is the useful load lifted. Had it been ideal case, then the VR's value and MA's value would have been same. In that case, the total load lifted would have been 12.5 into 500. In that case, it would have been 6250 Newton. 12.5 into 500 would have given you 6250 Newton. So that difference, 6250 minus 5625 Newton, is the force that is lost. The 10% efficiency loss is there because of that loss in force. Because that is used in overcoming friction, maybe between the parts of the machine, moving parts of the machine, and some amount of overcoming the moving parts, and friction is the major cause of loss. Had that been not there, had it been 100% efficient, then you could have lifted not 5625 but 6250 Newton. So copy this down. This is the 7th sum. These are simple sums based on what formula you have written. So now here, continuation of what was written earlier. If the efficiency was 1 or 100%, that means MA and VR would have been same, that is 12.5. Actually we got MA is 11.25 because the efficiency was 90%. But here, this is an extra part. This is not asked in the question, but this is just an explanation of frictional force. So here MA in this case would have been the ideal case, the total or ideal load that could have been lifted. You would have used the formula load upon effort, but in this case, ideal case, 12.25. Because you are considering efficiency as 100%. So now in this case, 12.25 effort is 500 Newton. That is not changing. The effort that is applied by the person is 500 Newton. So in that case, if it was an ideal machine, then the maximum load that you could have lifted using that machine, if the efficiency was 1 or 100%, would have been 6250. So 6250 would have been the ideal load. And what you got was actually 5625. That is the actual practical load that was lifted. So it can also be called the useful load lifted, because the rest of the force is going in overcoming friction. So the frictional force or force in overcoming friction is this 6250 minus the actual case what you got, that is 5625. So 625 newtons was the load of friction that was overcome by that effort. So this is an explanation, continuation. This is not asked in the exam, but this I have just explained so that if at all it is asked what is the frictional force, load of friction, then you can explain this. It's very simple. I have drawn a simple nutcracker in the exam. You need not draw. This is for your understanding. So this is what sort of a machine? It's a force multiplier. It's a class 2 lever. It's a class 2 lever because the load is in between the fulcrum and the effort. So you have FLE, class 1 fulcrum in between, F in between, class 2 load in between. So this is class 2, and class 3 would have been effort in between. You can remember it as FLE, flea. So now here you are given that the handle of the nutcracker is 16 centimeter long. So obviously a lemon squeezer or nutcracker, the person will hold the handle at the end of the handle and then press it. So that minimum effort will be applied to break that nut. And the nut is placed at a distance of 2 centimeter from the fulcrum. So effort arm is 16 centimeter and load arm, the nut is the load, it's at a distance of 2 centimeter from the hinge or the fulcrum. So you got effort arm and load arm. And the effort applied is 4 kgf. In that case, what is the maximum load that can be cracked? So you are using principle of levers, and obviously if they ask you what is the principle of levers work on, it works on the principle of moments. So you have load into load arm is effort into effort arm. So load is what we have to find. Load arm is 2 centimeter. Effort is 4 kgf and effort arm is 16 centimeter. So load is 4 into 16 upon 2, so that is 32 kgf. So you will write the maximum weight of the nut that can be cracked is 32 kgf. Copy it down. Page 45, question 9. So in this, you are given that there is a meter ruler, the diagram is given. Only thing that is not shown in the diagram which you have to draw is that the weight of the ruler will act at the center of the meter ruler. Because weight always acts through the center of gravity. And in case of a rod or a ruler, the center of gravity would be the very center of the ruler. So it's a 100 centimeter or 1 meter ruler. So the weight acts through 50 centimeter. So this weight has to be shown through 50 centimeter. Now it's a clear question of principle of moments question. Here this weight of the ruler is producing anti-clockwise movement, and this mass m, which is suspended at the 90 centimeter mark, is going to produce clockwise movement. So you have principle of moments, weight into distance between the point of application where the weight is acting to the fulcrum, that is the support. So weight into 60 minus 50, that is weight into 10, that is the total anti-clockwise movement. And on the other side you have mass into this distance is 90 minus 60, distance between this force and fulcrum, so that is 30. So W into 10 is m into 30. So W will be m into 30 upon 10, the 10 goes down, so it goes to the denominator, so W is 3 times m. So that means the weight of the ruler is 3 times the mass m that is suspended. You can easily understand this. We had seen examples of the child and the parent. In this case, the parent is the heavier one, which is sitting closer to the fulcrum, and the child is obviously lighter, sitting away from the fulcrum. So that both produces the same movement. It is similar to that, only the thing, instead of parent and child, they have given you weight of ruler W and mass m. So this is how you will have to compare and write the explanation. Directly you should not write that it is W which is more because it is closer. That is an explanation, but you should show the working. Now I am doing a couple of homework sums also for you. This is page 46, question number 1. This is the very first homework sum. Just understand the concept, everything is given in the sums, that is very simple. A machine is driven by a 50 kg mass that falls 4 meters in 2 seconds. So that driven by means that's the effort, the input to the machine or the effort is 50 kg and it falls 4 meter in time 2 seconds. So the time for which the machine is on is 2 seconds. And displacement of effort, the distance by which the effort is moving is 4 meter. The mass of the effort is 50 kg. Now when it is given in kg, please note it is mass, it is not effort directly. The effort is a force, it is not a mass. So you will write effort is same value but kgf. If you weigh 50 kg in physics, what you say is that is not your weight, that is your mass. Your mass is 50 kg. your weight will be 50 kgf or 50 into 9.8, that is approximately 490 Newton. This you had done last year in Newton's law of gravitation. So remember this and please convert it into Newton. Why should you convert to Newton? Because you are asked questions further like what is the power output? Power will be found in watt, W-A-T-T, only if your effort is in Newton. You can't leave it in Newton, kgf, because kgf into kgf upon second is not watt. Newton into meter will give you joule and joule upon second will be watt. So you have to convert this into Newton. Let it not remain in kgf. Now here G is 10, so that is why M into G, mass is 50, into G is 10. The question says it is 10, so we have taken 10. So the effort is 500 Newton. That is the force exerted by falling mass. The falling mass, it was clearly given, it is the effort. So that is the answer 1. Second question asked is, what is the work done by the falling mass in the displacement of 2 meter? Work formula is force into displacement. So work done by falling mass, the name given for work done by falling mass in this case, it is the work input. So the input work will be the force, that is effort. On the input side the force is effort and the displacement of the effort. Effort you just found, it is 500 Newton and displacement of effort is 4 meter. So the displacement of the effort was already given 4 meter. So Newton into meter gives you joule. Had you written kgf 50 into 4 200 kgf meter, that is joule, that is wrong because joule is Newton into meter. So make sure that your unit for effort is Newton and that you have multiplied kgf with 10 and found 500 Newton. So work input is 2000 joule. Now power input, next question asked, that is power input of the machine. That is work upon time is power. So power input is work input upon time. So that would be 2000 upon input time is 2. So 2000 upon 2, joule upon second is watt. So again here the input has to be in joule and for the work to be in joule, the effort has to be in Newton. So 2000 upon 2, that is 1000 watt is the power input. Now you are given if the efficiency of the machine is 60%, find how much is the output power. Directly you can use the formula efficiency is power output upon power input. You had work output upon work input, but work upon time, see now how much time the machine works. Work input and work output. The time for the input and time for the output will be the same. You use any machine, maybe your any washing machine, anything. The moment it's switched on, the electrical energy is coming in, the time for which electricity comes in, input time, and output time for the time for which it spins and dries and works, that is total time will be same. So therefore, here you have efficiency 0.6, power output upon input is 1000. So directly you can use, instead of work output upon work input, you can use power output upon power input and write that power output would be 1000 into 0.6, that is 600 watt. I'll do one more sum on levers, then we'll go on and see some few sums on pulley. The rest we will be doing in Zoom. So now we are doing the second homework sum on page 46. The question says a machine is used to lift a 100 kg stone to a vertical height of 20 meter. So the distance moved by the load is 20 meter in 80 seconds. So time is 80 seconds. So this is the data that is given. Mass of load, that is stone, is 100 kg. That is the mass of stone because it is in kg. So obviously we have to convert it into kgf and then call it as load. And then we do m into g. This is mass. Mass into g. The g's value is given as 10. So 100 into 10, 1000 Newton is the actual load. Load is a force and that is in Newton. The mass of the load was 100 kg. So now displacement of the load or dl is 20 meter and time is 80 seconds. So first question asked is, if the efficiency is 75%, find the electric power being consumed by the machine. So you are asked, what is the electric power that is consumed by the machine, the useful power of the machine. So power consumed by the machine is power output, that is work output upon time. The first part that is asked is, find the useful power of the machine. Useful power means what it is doing. What is this machine doing? It's lifting a stone. And what is the mass of the stone? 100 kg. So load was 1000 Newton. So power formula for output power, that is the useful power, would be work output upon time. Power is work upon time. Now here it is output power, so it would be work output upon time. And on the output side of the machine, what do you have? Input side you have load, output side, input side you have effort, and output side you have load. Input effort, output load. So output side load, so therefore you will say work is F into S, so work is load into displacement of load. Here the force is the load, that is 1000 Newton, and the displacement of the load is given, it is 20 meter, and the time for which the machine is on, so time for input and output will always be the same, that is 80 seconds. So you get, when you cancel 20 goes 4 times with 80, so that is why you will get the useful power or output power is 250 watt. Now when we continue with the sum, the second part, the efficiency is given as 75%. The efficiency of the machine is given, it is 75%, that is 0.75. Now based on this efficiency, you have further said that if the efficiency is 75%, find the electric power being consumed by the machine. Means input क्या दे रहे? Output you are getting 250 watt. But what is the input that you are giving so that you are getting an output of 250 watt? So that power consumed by the machine is the power input. So that you have to find using efficiency is power output upon power input formula, similar to the previous example. So power output you just found, it is 250 watt. Efficiency is 75% or 0.75. So therefore you can find power input 250 upon 0.75. I have shifted 2 decimals and written it as 75. And because I have shifted 2 decimals, I have put 2 zeros in the numerator. So you will get the answer as 1000 upon 3, that is 333.33 watt. That is the power consumed by the machine, which is also called power input. Just get used to these terms. Power consumed by machine means input. And what is the useful power of the machine means what was it lifting, how much it could lift, that is the output. So useful power is power output. Power consumed by machine is power input. And then they also ask you, find the electric power consumed. Why is there a loss of energy? And how much energy is lost? Why is there a loss of energy? Obviously because efficiency is not 1 or 100%. So we write energy is lost in overcoming friction. So obviously the most common form of loss of energy is friction between the moving parts of the machine. So energy is lost in overcoming friction. And how much energy is lost in overcoming friction? It would be energy of the input minus energy of the output. So it is energy input minus energy output. Input energy is power input into time. See, you know energy is power into time, or power is energy upon time. Power is work or energy upon time. The work and energy is same. So power input into time will give you energy input, and power output into time will give you energy output. So power input minus power output, you can take time common out because the common time is 80 seconds. I told you the input output everything is as long as the machine is on, and this machine was on for 80 seconds. So power input is the power consumed by the machine, that is 333.33, and power output is this useful power, that is 250. So 333.33 minus 250 into time 80 seconds, that difference 83.333 into 80, that gives you 250. You can write 83.33 as 250 upon 3, or you can directly multiply and find. You will get 6666.666 recurring, so 67, that much joule. That is the energy lost, and that energy is lost in overcoming friction. This is another simple question based on simple machines, and we have done a couple of sums of lever. So now the rest of the sums of levers we will do in Zoom. Now I will explain a couple of sums of pulley now. Pulley is very simple, it is based on formula. So that also the remaining sums we will do on Zoom. Now simply the pulley system, you know that there are two types of pulley system. One is movable pulley system and the other is the block and tackle system. Now in a movable pulley system, if you have mentioned in the question that it's a two pulley movable system, so in that case the formula that you will use is IMA is VR is 2 raised to n, where n is number of movable pulleys. So you have to be careful, and the question has to mention that it is a movable pulley system. Only then you will use this formula 2 raised to n. And I have written the word IMA because this is only if the efficiency is 1 or 100%. That means there is no mention of any friction or anything in the sum. Now for block and tackle system, if the question doesn't give any type of pulley system, it just says a pulley system with 5 pulleys, then it automatically means it's a block and tackle system of 5 pulleys. In that case, IMA is equal to VR is equal to n. Now it is not 2 raised to n, it is just n, where n is number of pulleys. Third, for a single fixed pulley, this you have learned. What is the use of that? It is just used to apply effort in a convenient downward direction. In this case, IMA is equal to VR is equal to 1. There is neither a force multiplier nor a speed multiplier. It is only used to apply the effort in convenient downward direction. If in a sum you are told a pulley system with 3 pulleys, and you are not given it's a movable pulley system or a block and tackle system, then you are supposed to understand that it's a block and tackle. If it is a movable pulley system, it will be clearly mentioned that it is a movable pulley system. So then in this sort of a sum you will have to take it's a block and tackle system, and n is equal to number of pulleys, that is 3. Block and tackle system is also called a sheaf, SHEAF, sheaf pulley system. Other formulae remains the same for all machines, that is efficiency is MA upon VR, efficiency is work output upon work input, which is also power output upon power input. VR is dE by dL, MA is load upon effort. So here because time is the same, so here you can even write this is power output upon power input. So work output or power output, both same. The values won't be the same because this is divided by time to get power output, and this also is divided by the same time to get power input. So time will get cancelled, and you will get whatever is given. Based on that you can take work output upon work input or power output upon power input. VR is dE by dL and MA is load upon effort. So based on this I will show you one sum in the video, the remaining we will do on Zoom. This is page 57, the classwork question number 6. It is given that there is a block and tackle system which is used to lift a load and it has 4 number of pulleys. it lifts 450 kg of load. So 450 kg load, that is the mass of the load. Number of pulleys is 4 and it's a block and tackle system. Through a vertical height of 20 meter. So the displacement of the load is 20 meter. The load is lifted up through 20 meter. The effort applied is 250 kg. So the effort is 250 kg. You are asked to find a list of things. First is work done by the load. So work done by the load is on the output side. You are finding work output or work done by the load will be load into displacement of the load. Now first thing you have to do is convert the mass of the load, which is 450 kg, to 450 into 10, because your given value of G as 10 meter per second squared. So load will be 4500 Newton. So you have written load as 4500 Newton and displacement of load as that 20 meter, because the sum says the load moves through, lifted through a height of 20 meter. So that gives you 90,000 joule. Please understand that Newton into meter will give you joule. Had you left it in kg, that is the mass, that will not give you the answer in joule. When you are asked to find work or energy, you have to find it in joule. Second question asks this: find the work done by the effort. So work done by the effort means effort into displacement of effort, that is work input on the input side. So first thing, we don't know what is displacement of effort. You know the displacement of the load, that was given 20 meter, and it's also mentioned that it is a 4 pulley system. Now in any block and tackle or any movable pulley system, your VR remains constant. So from VR, which is having the formula VR is equal to N, we can find the VR is 4 because number of pulleys were 4. But what is VR's basic formula? It is dE upon dL. So VR is dE upon dL, that is 4. So dE upon dL was 20 meter, it is given in the sum, that is 4. So you will get displacement of effort is 80 meter. So work done by the effort is effort into displacement of effort. Now again, effort, you can't take the effort as 250 kg, that is mass of effort. So that kg has to be multiplied, m into g has to be taken. So you get 2500 Newton, that would be the effort. So work done by the effort would be effort into displacement of effort. So 2500 Newton into 80 meter. So Newton into meter, that will give you the answer in joule. So it is 2 lakh or 200,000 joule. That is 2 lakh joule. So now that is how you find what is the work done by the effort. Remember, first thing you have to find the effort in Newton, and you also need to find the displacement of the effort in meter. It is effort into displacement of effort. That gives you the answer in joule. Next question asks this: name the types of work done. You already found work done by load. This work done by load is output work, and work done by effort, that is work input. So the two names of the two types of work done is work output and work input. And the last question asked there is: calculate the efficiency of the system. Efficiency is work output upon work input. So output work was work done by load, that is 90,000 joule, and input work is work done by effort, that is 2 lakh joule. So this gives you 0.45 or 45%. Now sometimes in the board exam they also ask you the question that draw the diagram. So in this case you will have to draw the 4 pulley block and tackle system. The diagram is also asked. So this may be for 3 marks and the diagram for an additional 2 marks. So the diagram also, which I have already taught in the theory part, that diagram would have to be drawn in the exam. So with that, we stop the sums and the video here. The remaining sums, all the classwork sums of both simple machines and pulley, I will be taking it with you in the Zoom session. Bye students, take care. Bye.